So you want to be a Scrum Master, but nobody will hire you because you don't have Scrum Master experience. But you can't gain Scrum Master experience because nobody will hire you. So what should you do? That's the magic question, and I'm going to be answering that today. Before you get started, grab a piece of paper and a pen because you'll want to take action on these steps that I give you after you listen to this video. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you need to do is actually understand the skills that you need in order to be successful as a Scrum Master. And I'm going to give you 3 specific skills. The first one, which is one of the most important skills, is the ability to influence other people. You'll be working with a product owner, you'll have your Scrum team, and stakeholders as well. And everybody is not always going to agree, and some people may not want to follow along in the direction or the goal of the actual product. And because of that, you need to have the ability to influence people and have difficult conversations. But what do you do if you don't currently have to influence people within your current job? I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how you can build this out. The first one, and probably the most easy, would be to actually mentor someone. This can actually be any topic that you want. Are you good at a musical instrument? Are you someone who's really good at math? It could be any topic that you're passionate about or that you're really good at. And the way that you're able to influence when you're a mentor is influencing them to reach a certain goal. There could be certain points in time where it's really difficult for them to move forward on certain action items, and that's where your influencing skills are going to be key. Another way that you can build your influencing skills is by joining a Toastmasters group. So within the Toastmasters organization, there's chapters all across the world. One of the topics for when you're learning to give better presentations is specifically around how to persuade and influence people. It might seem silly that you're doing this in a Toastmasters group, but there's a lot involved when it comes to coming up with a compelling speech that's going to help persuade and influence other people. The next thing is communication. So remember our last example where we talked about Toastmasters? That would be a great way that you can build your communication skills as well. I'm going to give you 2 specific things that you can do in addition to joining Toastmasters. The first one is joining networking events. When you join networking events, you're meeting other people and you're kind of forced to communicate with other people that you may not have as much in common with, or maybe you do, but you have to be able to convey your different ideas and actually understand more about them. And those are very important things that you'll be doing when you're a Scrum Master. The other thing that you can do to build your communication skills is to build out a blog. And this doesn't even have to be something that you widely share or publicize with other people. But by default, when you're creating a blog post, you have to portray what you're thinking and you have to communicate it effectively so people will understand the topic that you are writing about. And last but not least, building out leadership skills is important as a Scrum Master. You'll have a Scrum team that will be looking up to you and also coming to you for guidance, especially when things get tough. So 2 of the ways that you can build your leadership experience are through volunteering and also by starting a club. When we talk about volunteering, you can join a nonprofit or just volunteer as you want to within this nonprofit or some type of a community group. If that's not your cup of tea, you can actually start your own club. You can set up the cadence however you want, whether this is something where you meet on a monthly basis or where you meet on a weekly basis. Whatever it is that you're doing within this club, you have to have the leadership skills to move people forward, to move them towards a goal. And I'm going to throw one last bonus at you in terms of leadership skills. You don't have to be in a full-time job to be practicing leadership skills. This is something that you can do at home with your family or with your friends, because when you're helping them with conflict resolution, this is going to increase your leadership skills and make it easier for when you go into a Scrum Master job. Okay, so now that we've talked about the skills that you really need to master in order to become a Scrum Master, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to get more experience as a Scrum Master without officially being hired into a Scrum Master role. One of the things that I recommend is forming your own team. Let's keep it as simple as possible. You can recruit family members, you could invite friends, or you could even find people through networking events or through social media. I feel like it's really easy nowadays to meet other people, especially people who are like-minded and are interested in Scrum, that all you have to do is form a small group and decide something that you want to work on. Coming up with a volunteer project. So if you want something that's a little bit more tangible, something that's going to have a bigger impact, you could do a volunteer project like organizing a can drive in your neighborhood or at your work. This is something that can take a little bit of work in terms of communication, organization, working with other people, and you could create your own Scrum board to go along with this. This is one of the biggest questions that people ask me when they say, well, what type of project can I work on? The other thing you can do is you could organize, say, a neighborhood garage sale, or maybe you want to do some type of a potluck. Really try to be creative with these ideas, because the whole point is to try to organize and work on something with other people for a specific outcome. And the last one I've seen people do really well is finding a Scrum job into an actual project. They have Jira to create their own board. They put blockers on there, and they're working with other people as well. Maybe it's a recruiter or a mentor to try to help them reach this goal. The next thing I want to talk about is tools. One tool that's used by most Scrum Masters is Jira. And you can get a free license for Jira, and you can even add multiple people to your project, especially if you're working on a project where you formed your own team. Even if you don't have a team, I still recommend getting your hands dirty, signing up for a free Jira account. And the best part is you don't have to learn it on your own. I do feel like the user interface is easy enough that you can go and play around and get to know a little bit more about it without having someone there giving you specific directions. But the company Atlassian owns Jira, and there's Atlassian University. All you have to do is go to my comments or my notes below, and I've linked the actual course to the Jira fundamentals. This is something that you can take on your own time, do it self-paced, and you don't have to pay for it. It's totally free. So this is something I always recommend to aspiring Scrum Masters who want to build up some of their skills for when they start as a Scrum Master and feel really comfortable with the tools before they even get started. Thank you guys for listening to this video. The next steps are to take everything that you've written down on that piece of paper and go out and take action. That's really what's going to build your confidence. Action beats anxiety. So if you're having anxiety about trying to land the job or not really knowing what you're doing, going out and taking action is what's going to build that courage, and that's what's going to help you land the job. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I actually have a free guide on what to expect within your first month as a Scrum Master. All you had to do is go to the notes below, and I've linked my free guide, which you can sign up for today. Thanks so much for joining today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it and don't forget to subscribe.